All right, so let's talk about this. Let's get this bad boy down. All right, we got my man's here. I'm gonna start off with talking about my man's Gilberto Ramirez, who happens to be the next star out of Mexico. Okay, I mean, I'm sitting up here watching this fight. I'm like, man, dude, like Gonzalez was taking it to Gilberto Ramirez, like in the first round and whatnot. And there was a time where it looked like Gilberto, he seemed kind of vulnerable. He looked like he got hurt. He was rocked. But comes to find out, it was that damn headbutt, that big behind the head of Uneski Gonzalez. They end up crashing heads and whatnot. Boy, this guy looked intimidating. I'm talking about Gonzalez here. And everything's, but comes to find out it was a crash of heads and whatnot, okay? I'm saying, like, damn, I'm looking at the fight and saying, yo, Canelo, why don't you go ahead and face this guy? Take on, Gilberto Ramirez, man. I know you see something in this dude. Yo, come on, man. Give us this fight. I mean, you did move up to take on Kovalev. Move up again and take on, Gilberto Ramirez. You still got some good fights at 175, light heavyweight. Instead of trying to jump up to cruiserweight and take on some guy who hasn't fought since 2000 maybe. Okay, man, take on this dude, man. I'm telling you, Gilberto Ramirez, I can see him being the next big star out of Mexico after Canelo Alvarez. All right, now at the end of the fight, my man called out Artur Beterbiev. I'm like, whoa, okay, Artur Beterbiev, that'll be a good fight. All right, Artur Beterbiev have what, 17 fights with 17 knockouts? Like, sheesh. All right, that'll be a pretty good fight. But even if he beats Artur Beterbiev, he's definitely going to be a star, the biggest star, the next big star out of Mexico. If he takes on this, hard punching, very strong Eastern European, and he beats him, he's definitely going to be the next big star, the next big thing. And it ain't going to be no damn Ryan Garcia. I heard somebody say that, they're trying to make Ryan Garcia the next big, Mexican or Mexican American star, whatnot. I seriously doubt if he'd be the next Mexican star. Hell, fucking pretty boy, whatnot. I mean, they didn't even like Oscar De La Hoya back then. All right, they didn't even consider him Mexican. So, no, I can see Gilberto Ramirez, especially if he takes on Artur Beterbiev and defeats him. Okay, he's definitely going to be, the next big thing out of Mexico, because look, that's what they want. They want people with heart, okay, to represent Mexico, not someone who has a nervous breakdown when they're going into a tough fight. Hence, Ryan Garcia, okay, with Fortuna. Now, I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about some Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas. Look, this is a dangerous fight for Errol Spence. Okay, I mean, it's not as dangerous as a fight with Spence and, Crawford, or a fight with Spence and Boots Jerron Ennis, okay? But this is still a pretty, scary fight, all right? Now, I can smell controversy in this fight. I know there's going to be some rematch clauses in this fight because, both these guys have titles. I can see Yordenis Ugas probably getting robbed in the first fight. And, who knows? This probably might go to a trilogy, to prolong, Spence without fighting guys like Jerron and his Boots. And Terrence Bud Crawford. And who knows? Maybe after the trilogy, he might end up retiring. All right. Now, really, nobody wants to see Errol Spence get hurt. Nah, not really. But what people is hitting at, they, like, the people who want to see him lose, they really don't want to see him lose, but they just want his fan base to shut the hell up. That's all. That's what this is about. Okay? They want Errol Spence's fan base to be quiet. All right? I mean, like, they had enough of them dudes. All right? I mean, back with like guys like with Canelo Alvarez and whatnot, a lot of people say, well, why do you want Canelo to take on these tough fighters? What, you want him to lose? Well, Canelo already has a loss on his record. You know what I'm saying? So no, I mean, like, we already know he lost, but I guess, people want to see him in better fights, bigger and better fights, and including some of his Mexican fans. I have some, some Mexicans I know who was born there, now work here and live here in the United States. They say the same thing, man. It's time for Canelo to step up his game. Yeah, it was good that he made history, but with being like the first boxer at 168 super middleweight to become undisputed. But it's time for him to take on some, tougher challenges and whatnot. All right. And you know what? All this stuff is getting to Canelo Alvarez. Before, Canelo never, he never responded to people who were saying that he's taking on soft competition and whatnot. I mean, back here last year, the year before last, I never heard Canelo make any response about, what other people had to say about him. He just, looked at his fans, the ones who praised him, he just paid attention to them. But now he's clapping back at people and whatnot, saying that he learned cherry picking from the best in the sport, Floyd Money Mayweather, this, that, and the third. He's starting to come out of his shell and start talking to the people who's saying that he's taking on soft competition. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is starting to get under his skin. But back with Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas. Now, yeah, I can see this being controversial and everything. Because really, I mean, first of all, this is a dangerous fight, like I said before. But Yordenis Ugas, he really don't has the punching power to keep Errol Spence off of him. Okay, he really don't. He has the skill, to outbox Errol, but he don't have that pop to keep Errol off of him. Now, when I was looking on my Instagram and I seen how this, fans are talking about the fight, Errol Spence fans, they already talking about knockout. Yeah, man, he gonna knock Yordenis Ugas out. Errol Spence, 4th round knockout. Some saying he's gonna stop him in the 8th round, and I'm like, my gosh, when was the last time homeboy had a stoppage? Carlos Ocampo? And, that was back in 2018. Okay? I mean, after Carlos Ocampo, Spence was supposed to knock out Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. Damn, he only had what? Like 3 other fights? Okay, he fight once a year. Yeah, that was like his last stoppage. All right, but people still saying that he's going to knock people out. And the one guy I remember, he had stated that Errol Spence will not only knock out Ugas, but he will retire him. Okay, so ever since Terrence Crawford stopped Sean Porter and retired him, now Errol Spence is going to knock out Yordenis Ugas, and retire him. Okay. But, yeah, on the real, nobody wants to see Errol Spence get hurt. Okay, not really. No, I don't want to see him hurt no more than what he really is. Okay, and, they'll look at Yordenis Ugas as a safer fight for Errol Spence than a Jerron Boots Ennis and a Terrence Bud Crawford. Okay, I mean, remember what happened when he was going to the fight with a Manny Pacquiao? He ended up getting his eye socket, his rectangle, something broken, ripped. It was all ripped up and everything, So yeah, they're looking at this as a safe way, I'll say. And with that being said, like I said, I can see, a trilogy in this fight. I can see some, it might be a draw, because I don't think, Spence is going to get stopped in this fight, not unless he gets hurt. Like, his eye mess up on him again. What I mean? They might end up doing that. It might end up stopping the fight. And who knows? I mean, it may look like Spence is ahead in the fight, but when they go to the cards, Spence was ahead and, something controversial. So, if they stop the fight after 4 rounds or so, of course they're going to give it to Spence and whatnot. And then, hey, here comes the rematch, and then comes the trilogy, and then Errol Spence may say goodbye to the sport of boxing. Okay, he's done. This is what I'm saying. So there will be no Yordenis, there will be no, Jerron Ennis and Terrence Crawford facing Errol, the true Spence. His fan base want to see him retire undefeated. That's the thing. Okay, but yeah. what it is. People want Spence to lose, so they can poke and pick fun at his fan base. I mean, they're gonna be on suicide watch. Okay, they will be on suicide watch. This is crazy. So, anyways, man, that's my take on this. This is CMD Boxing Reports, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.